Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode on how to think like a Grandmaster series. In today's video, I'm excited to share with you how to think like a Grandmaster throughout all phases of the game: the opening, middle game, and end game. Let's dive in. Opening. The first thing you need to know about thinking like a Grandmaster in the opening is developing the right pieces at the right times. The main thing people teach you is first to move your pawn, then your knights, bishops, etc. But sometimes, based on the opening, it will differ. In the London, you develop your bishop first, or in the Reti or Alkine, you develop your knight first. All of these are good openings, but if you are a beginner or intermediate player and truly want to get better at chess, stick with the balanced openings and control the center right away, and also choose openings with pawns as their first moves. That way, when you are studying them, it is easier to memorize. Another note in the opening is stick to the main line. Don't play variations unless know them very well. Let's go through the opening of an example game. First, the opponent moves e4. Then you respond with e5. They respond with the knight to f3, and you respond with the knight to c6. Then they respond with bishop c4. Then you play knight f6, and they play knight c3. This is an example of a finished opening with most of the key pieces developed. Opening closing statement. In conclusion, mastering the opening phase of chess is essential for developing a strong foundation as a player. By focusing on the principles of active piece development, central control, and consistent pawn structures, you not only enhance your understanding of the game, but also set yourself up for success in the middle game. Middle game. The middle game is where the real strategy of chess comes alive. This phase of the game characterizes a rich blend of tactical opportunities and strategic planning. To think like a grandmaster during the middle game, there are several key principles and concepts to remember. Evaluate the position. Start by assessing the current position on the board. Look at the material balance, pawn structure, king safety, and piece activity. A grandmaster considers their position and their opponents, identifying strengths and weaknesses that can be exploited. In the middle game, there are three key factors you should always remember. Attacks. Always look for attacks, like forks or pins. Checks. Always look for a way to check your opponent's king in a way that will improve your position. Captures. Always look for captures, like trading pieces, or if your opponent leaves a piece hanging, you should take it. Let's go back to the example game here. Now you can respond in this position by bishop c5, and your opponent castles, and you castle as well. Then your opponent plays d4, but that's a mistake. So how do we punish this mistake? Pause the video and think. The answer is taking on d4, because after knight takes, we can take with the bishop on d4. Then they will play knight d5, trying to get some counterplay, but we just take the free pawn on e4. Endgame. In chess, the endgame is the final phase of the game where few pieces remain on the board, and the objective shifts from gaining material advantage to checkmating the opponent's king. Mastering the endgame requires understanding key principles such as king activity, pawn promotion, and the importance of opposition. In many endgames, the king becomes an active piece rather than a passive one. It should play a central role in supporting pawns as they advance toward promotion. The concept of opposition, where one king directly faces the other with an empty square in between, is crucial for controlling key squares on the board, allowing you to dictate the flow of the game. Additionally, learning common endgame patterns and techniques, such as the method of converting a pawn into a queen and executing checkmate with a king and queen against a lone king, can significantly improve your winning chances. Practicing various endgame scenarios will enhance your ability to effectively convert advantageous positions into victories and defend challenging ones. Let's look at a position in endgames. In this first position, everything looks equal, but black plays rook f6. A blunder, can you tell why? Because you can play the move knight e4, forking the bishop and the rook. You made it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching the first episode of my series on how to think like a grandmaster. Thank you for watching. See you next time.